Hey there, if you are watching this, then you have started the project for week 6. You're learning about for loops and arrays. And I wanted to make this video specifically for part of this project because it's a little trickier. And as I was kind of reading through it, I realized that it's kind of big. So I want to take this opportunity to maybe just use this as a chance to demo kind of the process of working through like a coding goal. So specifically, I'm talking about this one, words that aren't the most 10 common words. So I'm assuming that you've started the project and that you kind of know what I'm talking about. If not, then go start the project and maybe watch the previous video. But this one is a little bit harder, so I wanted to spend some time to kind of talking through it. So I haven't actually done anything or prepared anything, and I've kind of done that on purpose. It's not just me being lazy, but I want to kind of demo the actual process that I would follow for this. So I haven't actually figured out how I want to do any of this. So I do have my code open, and let me kind of just set that stuff up here. And so I have my editor on the left and my web page on the right. Well, I don't actually have it on the right yet. Let me open that up. Cool. And I'm going to open up my JavaScript console just so that I can spot any errors and whatnot. As always, this is so ridiculous to line up. Let's just put it below, and yeah, all good. Okay, so I've got my code, I've got my web page, and I've got my JavaScript console. And again, my goal is to take a speech and then output the words of that speech that are not in the 10 most common words. Okay. So right now what I'm debating is whether I should go find a speech, because right now the placeholder text is just lorem ipsum, which is just placeholder content. Let's see how easy that is. So let's say, I don't know, Independence Day's president speech. If you haven't seen this movie yet, it came out in like the 90s. So mild spoilers for a movie that's like 30 years old. But let's see if I can just find this maybe. Yeah, I want this whole thing. So I'm gonna copy paste all of this in here. Add a space. So this isn't super exciting, but this is how I would have started the project. All right, so I've got my speech, and maybe I'll go through and like maybe delete some of these weird punctuation marks. Good enough. And all right, just in time for pop-up ad. Let's close that. Okay, so I've got my speech, and just to get started, maybe I'll refresh and make sure that it's working. So okay, and yeah, here's some of that weird punctuation. Since it's like kind of curly, it's like fancy commas and fancy like smart quotes. It's going to kind of break. So let me try to fix some of that. Here's one. Here's one. All right, is that all of them? Maybe. It's not, but all right, I think I have one more here. All right, whatever. I think that's fine. And then the long words are still working. Fine, cool. So that's how it gets started. But now that we have that, I want to sort of skip to this one, words that are not the 10 most common words. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying like display uncommon words. I'm going to create a function called function display uncommon words. Okay, cool. And then just to get things started, I'll say console.log here, just to confirm that I'm sort of connecting the pieces correctly. So let me refresh, and I do see here. And the reason I did that is just so that I can kind of prove to myself that the code I wrote, even though it's just 2 lines of code, well, actually, if you count the speech, it's more than 2, but whatever. All I did was define a display uncommon words function and then call that function from this sort of top level function. But that works. So I know that my pieces are connected. If this didn't work, then I would have, stared at this until I figured out why it wasn't working how I expected. So next what I want to do is create a for loop that iterates over the words array and does something with each word. So I think I've modeled the one way to do a for loop. I think I'm going to do it the other way in this video just to sort of show you both options. So maybe I'll do for let word of, what did I call that array? Words array, I think. Yeah, words array. Words array. So this is like a for of loop, which cuts out the step of creating an index or an I variable. And for now, I'm just going to console.log the word. So I'm creating a for loop that does something for each word, in this case, just printing out the word. And I'm going to get rid of this one now. Okay, refresh, and there we go. You see that I do indeed have all of the words printed out to the console. Okay, so now I want to do something for each word. And again, my end goal is to print out the words that are not the 10 most common words. So how I might do that is first I need to figure out what the 10 most common words are. Okay, so let's say like English most common words. I think it's the, but then what's next? And here's okay. All right, there you go. There they are. So maybe I'll start by saying like, well, first of all, let me look at the speech. Does it have some of these things? Does it have the, less than? I would be shocked if it does not have a the. Yeah, it has a bunch of the. So maybe I'll start by just not printing out the thes and see where that takes me. So I think what I'll do is I'll have an if statement and I'll say like if word, whoops, I need the parentheses. If word, let's start with like not equals to the. Then I will add this to my HTML, and I think for this sake I'm going to steal this code. This code creates an element and then adds it to the page. I need a separate element, so let's do that. So I need something very similar to what's already here. So I need like just, I'm setting up the boilerplate HTML tag that I'm going to fill in a second. So I'm going to say uncommon words. Okay, so I've got an H2 tag with a title or a heading here of uncommon words, and then a blank UL tag that has an ID of uncommon words. Okay. And then in the if statement that I just wrote, I'm going to say create an li, and then set the text of that li, and then I'm going to say uncommon words element.append child, where uncommon words element is what? Not defined yet. So let's define that. Let uncommon words element equals document.get element by ID uncommon words. And I always get annoyed by line wrapping and whatnot, but I'll try not to obsess over that too much. Fine. So I have my uncommon words element, and I'm going to refresh over here. And okay, I got an error. Great, cool, wonderful. Cannot read properties of null. Trying to append child to something that's null on line 42. Okay, so that's uncommon words element. So when I see this error message, what I do is I look at the thing that is not defined, which is here. So I go to uncommon words element. So I ask myself, where am I defining that? And that's up here. First thing I do is I check the spelling. So uncommon words element, check for like capitalization and stuff. Uncommon words element. Okay, that looks right. Then I'm going to check the ID. Oh, I see. Okay. So I think I added an extra parenthesis. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to refresh. And okay. Let's scroll down. So underneath long words, now I should see uncommon words, and it should not contain the. Okay. The only way it contains the is if the is in a different word like others. It does not contain any individual the. Okay, so now this does not contain the most common word. So then I would kind of think about the next one, B. Okay, B is the next most common word. Does the speech have B to start with? And it does, yeah, a bunch of times. So couple ways I could proceed from here. One is I could copy this kind of logic, and I would say, like, if the word is not equal to the and word is not equal to, what is it, B, then run the code and refresh, and now I should not see B in my uncommon words. So let's do it, Control F for B, and actually they're all at the top. And yeah, okay, it's not going to be in long words because it's really short. Okay, and that makes sense. So no B in the uncommon words. And I could do something really similar. I could keep going and say and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah 10 times. And if that's how you want to do it, go for it. That's totally cool. But for the purposes of demonstrating like how I would actually think about it, what I might do is maybe I'll define another variable. Maybe I'll say like let common words, and in that case it's going to be an array. And that array is going to be the most common words. So what is it? The, B, to, of, and again, I'm just reading here. I'm going to maybe introduce some white space so I'm no longer annoyed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. Where am I? In that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, need one more. I. Okay, so now I have my common words, and it's an array that contains the 10 most common words. Okay. And so what I want to do is change my if statement so that I don't have to have like 10 ands in a row. And I think there's a way to do that. If I have an array, let's check like JavaScript. Does array contain value? Maybe. 5 ways to check if an array contains a value. All right, that's too much. That's too many ways. Let's just check Stack Overflow. Modern browsers have array includes. Okay. All right, this looks promising. Dot includes. Okay. So maybe I'll say if what? If uncommon words dot includes word. Okay. So let's save this and let's just run it and see what errors I get. See if I get any problems here. So I'm gonna refresh. And okay. Reference error. Oh. Well, duh. So here's what happened. I ran my code and I got an error. And it's saying reference error, uncommon words is not defined. Again, that's a very common error. I think I got it earlier actually. It's on line 42. Okay. So on line 42, which is the if statement that I just wrote, I said if uncommon words dot includes word, which like is semantically what I'm trying to do, but it's not like I have an array that contains all of the uncommon words. That would be ridiculous. What I have instead is an array that contains the common words. So I'm kind of reverse this logic. So if common words dot includes word, so this if statement is saying if the word is a common word, if it's one of these words, which actually, let's refresh and try that. Refresh, and what I should see is now the uncommon words section is sort of the opposite of what I want. It's only the 10 most common words that are also in the speech, and I haven't done anything like deduplicated or anything, so it's going to have like repeats because these words are used multiple times. Okay, cool. So that actually works. And now what I want to do is reverse that logic. So I'm going to put a not operator in front and save that and refresh, and I think this will work now. So now if I go down to uncommon words, it should only have the uncommon words. And I'm a little suspicious of this actually, because I'm not sure that that's true. Oh, I think I see what's happening. So I was a little bit suspicious of this in, because in is right here and in is right here. I see that the in is actually capitalized, so maybe what I'll do is uncapitalize it. I'll say for our purposes, I'm not going to actually grade on that. I don't care. You know, the actual thing that matters is, did you use a for loop? So I'm not going to get too fussy about stuff like capitalization and punctuation and stuff, but I am kind of personally annoyed by this for my own project, so maybe I'll fix it. I also am suspicious of this an. I think that's a very common word, but it's actually not the 10 most common. I bet it's probably like 11. No, it's not. Where is it? Oh, it's down here. All right, so it's not. It's the 32nd most common. So all right, whatever. So I won't worry too much about an, I guess, but I will worry about this in, because that's kind of obnoxious. So notice that all of my common words are mostly lowercase except for this I, but this I, like, it shouldn't matter actually. So what I'll do is, first let's make sure that they're all lowercase. I actually don't know how to do this off the top of my head, so let's close out some of these tabs. And what I want to do is maybe convert my word to lowercase. So JavaScript string lowercase. I don't know. Oh, 2 lowercase. Okay, that's easy enough. Text.to lowercase. All right, that looks promising. I could read through it more, but I think just judging from the name alone, I think it's probably exactly what I want. So if common words dot includes word dot to lowercase. So now I'm saying, before I do my check, first convert the word to lowercase. So if it is, in our case, if it's a capital I in, then convert it to lowercase I in. And, you know, if I wasn't sure, I could add more code here and like just kind of test it out and be like, you know, print out this value. But I think I'm pretty confident that it's going to work. So let's save it and refresh over here. And now I no longer have that in my list of uncommon words. And I think that's about as far as I would go. I think that satisfies the requirement of words that aren't the 10 most common words. Here they are. You could take this a little further. You know, I said the words that aren't the most 10 common, but if you wanted to say include more than 10, if you wanted to go all the way to, I don't know, 100, like really the most uncommon words, then you could. The idea would be pretty similar. You'd maybe have an array that you use as a tool. But the other way would be just to have a really ugly if statement, but you know, it's all good. Okay, so this part of this project used a bunch of different things that we've learned kind of separately, and it used kind of, I don't know, a few things together. So we had our for loop, and we used an if statement, and first we said we could do it kind of the manual way by saying, like, is the word not equal to the, and is it not equal to be, and is it not equal to 2, and is it not equal to of? You know, you could do it that way, but to save ourselves some typing and to make it a little easier to work with, I instead went with this approach of having like a second array, which I use in my logic down here. So this is very common in coding, where you'll mix and match different concepts to combine them to accomplish your goal. And of course you'll hit errors along the way and need to do debugging and using search engines and whatnot, but you know, that's all part of it. That's all part of the fun. Okay, so hopefully that helped. And of course, like, as you have questions or you get stuck on stuff, please let me know. Please reach out. That's my favorite part of teaching a class, is working with all of y'all. So again, don't hesitate to reach out, and I'm happy to demo other stuff or just kind of chat about whatever. But for now, hopefully that helped. So I'll say good luck and have fun finishing your projects, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. All right, see you in the next one.